What's up, everybody? Welcome inside the Aftermath Digital Studios. Kevin Michie here alongside Jimmy Corderas, Anthony Corelli, Nug Nargang. Hi, everybody. Guess what we're doing today? We are counting down the top 20 wrestlers of 2020, and I thought I would get our esteemed panel to weigh in, the experts, if you will. We'll get them to weigh in on this top 20. Jimmy, I am looking at you.
Repo Man, number one.
Okay, yeah. All right. So it's Repo Man. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Video's over.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start at the top. Top 20. We're gonna go 20 to 16 here. Number 20, I've listed Walter, your NXT UK champ. Number 19, Kevin Owens, Blainville Brosbriand's own. Number 18, Maryville, Quebec, Canada's own. Pardon me. Kevin Owens be very upset that I got his hometown wrong. Number 18, AJ Styles. Number 17, Alexa Bliss. Number 16, Finn Balor, your NXT champ. So those are the 20 to 16. Those are kind of the lower tier of the top. What do you anybody stick out there for you guys?
Just if for me, because he's had a stellar year, I think from beginning to end, is AJ Styles. Maybe would have put him maybe a little bit higher, but other than that, yeah, everybody's pretty fair there. I know Kevin Owens has had a bit of a resurgence lately, but that's lately. You know, he's had that lull. So, if anybody,
it's funny.
Yeah,
because at first you think, for example, you think, oh, Kevin Owens should be higher, but then you see the list and you're like, ooh, those guys they're there for a reason too. It's a tough call to boil it down to 20 superstars when you look at both brands in NXT. There's Walter, for example. I mean, I would imagine next year he's higher than 20.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be on a meteoric rise. I like everybody on the list. I definitely agree they're all in the top 20. I mean, you can nitpick about flipping one or two spots, but they're all top 20 material.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could flip people around and argue about who should be 16 and who should be 17 and whatever, but it's a good list. I'm surprised AJ Styles is in there, but I do know there are a lot of guys who had a better year than AJ, so I'm really interested to see where the list goes from here.
So we've said that AJ had a really good year, Kevin had a really good year. So let's kind of see if they fit into maybe the next tier, the next five. So number 15 after Finn Balor at 16. Number 15 is Bobby Lashley. He is your U.S. champion. Number 14, Braun Strowman. He was WWE. He was Universal champion this year. Number 13 is Adam Cole, baby. Number 12 is Keith Lee, and I did have some pushback, some feedback about Keith Lee being number 12. Number 11, Montreal's own Sami Zayn, your IC champ, just falls out of the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. So that's number 15 to 11. Jimmy, I know that you had some thoughts on Keith Lee. You mentioned him in our Fails of the Year segment. You kind of mentioned that you thought that he would have a bigger role in this year. So what do you think about Keith Lee kind of being at number 12?
Yeah, maybe like Anthony said, being a little nitpicky here, but when he debuted on Raw, he had that tremendous debut. It looked like huge things were ahead for Keith Lee, and then it kind of fell off the rails a little bit. He's still prominent, but not at a level that I expected him to be at. So maybe he falls into the 20 to 16. Again, I'm just being nitpicky here, only because of that step backwards that he took.
Yeah, it's funny. If next year was like this, then I'd say he'd be lower. But the fact that he's a new guy, that has some value to it. But probably maybe in the 16 to 20.
Did have a killer year in NXT. He was North American champ and NXT champ at the same time. That's got to count for something. But he's had a bit of a stumble since getting on the main roster. Hopefully he can find his way back to the direction he should be going.
But do love the Canadian content, though.
That's true, yes.
You got, I mean, I know that Sammy's going to have an issue with being just outside of the top 10 at number 11. And Nug, you're right. I did try and take in an entire year's body of work, and Keith Lee being NXT champ, North American champ at the same time, and having the promo package of the year. His promo package with Karrion Kross heading into an NXT takeover where Karrion Kross beat Keith Lee for the NXT championship. It featured Metallica. The promo package of the year, folks.
It was awesome.
You have to watch it. It's so good. It'll be in the article. Go check it out there. Number 10, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, your SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They come as a package. Number 9, Rhea Ripley. Number 8, your NXT Women's Champ, Io Shirai. Number 7, your Raw Women's Champ, Asuka. Number 6, The Fiend / Bray Wyatt. Now, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford there, my only tag team on the list. Tag team wrestling, not that prominent this year, ladies and gentlemen.
No, and like you said, if there's one tag team that did shine out of that division, it is Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. So they deserve to be in the top 10. I think just for that reason alone is they're pretty much, along with the New Day to some degree, carrying the tag team division.
A lot of carrying being done in that little section. Asuka kind of held the women's division together, and the Street Profits held the tag team division together. So a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, every time you start a new tier, it's like, oh yeah. Even the last year when you started off with Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman, you're like, whoa, those are two significant players. And then of course, yeah, Asuka, Io Shirai, Street Profit, everyone you mentioned had a fantastic year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we could say that it's arguable, but I think that the NXT women's division has been the strongest of women's division out of the three brands, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown.
Phenomenal.
It's been really good. Rhea Ripley, the first NXT women's champion to compete in WrestleMania. Have to give her a big shout out for that. And so that brings us to our top 5, ladies and gentlemen, top 5 wrestlers of 2020 inside WWE. Number 5, I am going with Roman Reigns, your Universal Champion at the moment. At 5, because I'm taking into account his earlier body of work this year, where Roman wasn't necessarily at the level he is now, and then through no fault of his own, he took some time off. He was away from our television screens. Since his comeback, maybe the best wrestler on the planet. However, taking into account his earlier body of work, number 5. Anthony, do you like Roman number 5 there?
No, I think the way you valued the beginning of the year totally makes sense. This is people that, based on their year 2020, you're not ranking who's the best wrestler. This is 2020. So for 2020, absolutely.
And then that takes us to number 4, which is your SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. I'm going to let you guess who's number 3, and I'm going to share this because these two are kind of tied together. Number 3 is Bayley, your former SmackDown Women's Champion. Would you flip either two of those, or do you like Bayley at 3, Sasha at 4?
I like Bayley at 3 a lot. I would flip Sasha and Roman. But that's just my preference. I thought I do still take into account the earlier part of the year, but Sasha spent a lot of the year being helped by Bayley in her position, and not really winning things on her own. So I would flip Roman and Sasha, but Bayley's still number 3.
Interesting. Jimmy, do you like what do you think? Do you like the 5, 4, 3 Roman, Sasha, Bayley?
I do like them, but like Nug said, I may flip it around. Yes, I understand what you said about Roman's entire year, but at the same time, this new iteration of Roman Reigns has far surpassed anything I saw coming out of him. This is something, when you talk about reinvention, this is reinventing for the absolute better. So yeah, maybe I would put him at 4.
Interesting. That takes us to number 1, number 2. Number 2 for the year. He is a legend. He is now a 14-time WWE champion. He is Randy Orton. He is the number 2 wrestler of the year. And here's why I put him there. His entire body of work this year, January, which feels like it was 14 years ago, all the way until December 2020, he has been top tier. I think you talk about someone reinventing themselves. Randy Orton hasn't necessarily reinvented himself. However, Randy Orton, he almost seems like he's a new Randy Orton with how good he's been on promos, how consistently solid he's been in the ring, and the respect that he has garnered from across the wrestling community, old school, new school alike. Randy Orton, number 2. Number 1, Drew McIntyre is your number 1 wrestler of the year, because January, Royal Rumble winner. April, WrestleMania, WWE champion, carries the title for months and months and months, loses it briefly, wins it back, still your WWE champion. Gentlemen, please chime in. What do you think of Drew number 1, Randy number 2?
I can't argue that one bit. Like you said, Randy, like you said, may be doing some of the best work of his career right now. But Drew McIntyre realizing that potential from way back when Vince McMahon picked him as the chosen one. It may have taken a little longer than anticipated, but that realization came to fruition, and we're seeing it now through this entire year of 2020 from Drew McIntyre. And I can't argue year 1 and 2 at all.
Yeah, you know what? If Randy keeps up at this pace, he might be the best wrestler ever. he's approaching 20 years, but not just 20 years, being at the very top for 20 years at the same company. I mean, and if he goes beyond that, man, he's just so good. Everybody likes him. Kids like him. Grandma likes him. All the wrestlers like him. They wish they could work like him. He again, like Jimmy says, he is the prototype. He's the, if you build your own character, he should start with the Randy Orton frame.
It's consistency. He's always good, and then like other wrestlers show up and get a little great, and then have their little ups and downs, and Randy's always there, and Randy will see them along the way on their little travels. But Randy Orton, I can't even say it like you said. It's not a new Randy Orton. It's Coke Classic. It's Randy Orton Classic. It's the Randy Orton that we watched turn into the legend killer and is still the legend killer, and at a moment's notice will turn his attention to the thing that he wants to focus on. He can be over here and then see this, and like, that's what I want to do. It's the way he was taking on Edge and then went, title please, and went and got that title.
It's like he said,
not be reinvented.
Yeah. If I could, Nugster, just to elaborate on that. Like you said, he's been constantly good, but there are times where he goes from good to great. And this year he's been absolutely fantastic. And we talk about, Anthony said he may be the best of all time when it's all said and done for his career. We keep talking about Mount Rushmores, Randy's going to end up on it.
He's going to be there. Yep.
He's going to be the fifth head on the side.
The way that we talk about Randy Orton and the year that he's had, the couple years that he's had, and to still put Drew McIntyre number one, I think we're all in agreement. Drew McIntyre can still be the number one wrestler of 2020. Mm-hmm. That speaks volumes about the kind of year that Drew has had, the kind of leap that he has taken. Anthony, he was your win as your win of the year, the anointment of Drew McIntyre. So I think that we can all kind of settle on, we can all be comfortable with Drew McIntyre number one, Randy Orton number two. A lot of flip-flopping everywhere else. We can have a lot of picking and choosing and here and there and there and this and this and this. But you know what? 1, 2, Drew, Randy. I think that we're 100%. Right there. So let's kind of recap here. We'll go down 1 to 20. If there's somebody that sticks out, tell me, Kevin, you're an idiot. Number 1, Drew McIntyre. 2, Randy Orton. 3, Bayley. 4, Sasha Banks. 5, Roman Reigns. 6, The Fiend. 7, Asuka. 8, Io Shirai. 9, Rhea Ripley. 10, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins. 11, Sami Zayn, Canada's own. 12, Keith Lee. 13, Adam Cole. 14, Braun Strowman. 15, Bobby Lashley. 16, Finn Balor. 17, Alexa Bliss. 18, AJ Styles. 19, Canada's own Kevin Owens. 20, Walter. There you go. There's your top 20.
I like it.
Is The Fiend down there?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
The Fiend, number 6, just outside of the top 5, just outside. Anyways, I want everybody out there in computer land, in the YouTubes, as Nug likes to say, to let me know what you think. Do you agree with the list? Did we miss somebody? Do you want somebody else on the list? Is there somebody that you're targeting for next year? Like, do you think Johnny Gargano should be on there? Is Mustafa Ali, is he going to break through and jump on the list? Seth Rollins, he was left off the list. Kyle O'Reilly, he had a big year. Big E, he could be next.
Otis.
Tommaso Ciampa. Otis. I mean, Otis might be on the top 20 most unfortunate years.
Yes.
And he might be up there. Yeah. I want to know what you guys think. You got to let us know. Tag Jimmy, only Jimmy, just
only
Jimmy. Maybe me as well. I don't know if you want. And let us know what you think of the top 20. And just keep it tuned to the Sportsnet YouTube page for more Aftermath content from all of us here at Aftermath.